Let's take it out to the game with the call. Here's John Wilsbach.
And a very pleasant good evening, everyone, and welcome to George R. Saxton Memorial Field here on the campus of East Pennsboro High School in Enola, actually right near Summerdale. And it has been a very busy day, to say the least, as far as traffic is concerned, for many fans trying to get up this way because of Penn State traffic, construction, and other log jams on the road. But everyone seems to be ready to go. A good attendance here tonight by Middletown faithful, and they're going to try to keep warm as the temperatures are slowly dipping down. Good crowd on the other side of the field, the East Pennsboro side of the field, a home game for their team. And for Mid-Penn Division 2, this is a big game for both teams, Brian Kaiser.
No question about it, John. East Pennsboro, slim hopes still left in division. They need a lot to happen, but if they're going to have any chance of winning division crown, they have to beat Middletown here at home tonight. Middletown, on the other hand, controls their own destiny. East Pennsboro tonight, Mechanicsburg next week. They win both. They win the division title.
Bill Stum to kick it off for the Panthers. End over end. Taken by Coleman at the 12, out to the 20, to the 25, to the 30, and down he goes at the 31-yard line. Gary Coleman with a nice return, and the Raiders will have control of the football to start this game. They are wearing the white jerseys tonight with the gold pants and the blue trim. East Pennsboro with the black jerseys, white pants, and the orange trim. Middletown breaks out of the huddle. Chris Blasi, the quarterback. Full house backfield. Coleman, Baker, and Jesse Dubes. Three men straight across behind the quarterback. And that T set. Give to Coleman, sweeping near side, finds a hole at the 35, cuts it outside at the 40. Tries cutting back up, but is taken down at the 43-yard line for a first down for the Raiders.
And Gary Coleman was really the catalyst last week in Middletown's homecoming victory over Lower Dauphin, a game that they looked just lethargic in the first half, and then really turned it on, bolstered by Coleman's very aggressive running in the second half of that football game. We'll see exactly what kind of momentum Middletown carries off of that emotional victory last week against Lower Dauphin for their homecoming. See if they can carry the momentum onward tonight against East Pennsboro.
Raiders first and 10, their own 44. Coleman again sweeping left, gets knocked down at the 45, a gain of 1 yard for the Blue Raiders. Just underway, Middletown and East Pennsboro. Other big games going on in AAA tonight. Big game right up the road from us, another 20 miles up the road from us in Elliotsburg is Gettysburg at West Perry. Middletown fans hoping for a West Perry loss in that game. We'll try to have score updates for you there as our Paul Yoder has made his way up the highway. Middletown 2nd and 9 with a slot far side. Backs are split. Give up the middle. J.J. Baker breaks up to midfield. Gets across the 50, just inside East Pennsboro territory. Actually, they're going to mark it right at the 50-yard line for a 3rd and 4.
Take a look at some other key matchups going on in AAA. James Buchanan against a Bermudian Springs team that has suspended 11 of its varsity players. They're down to 22 players now. That's not good news for Middletown fans. Fortunately for Middletown's playoff hopes, James Buchanan has an even tougher game next week anyways against Scotland.
Yeah, and it was kind of interesting. I don't think a lot of people maybe caught the story, but, you know, here's a small school in Bermudian Springs, 11 varsity players suspended for the rest of the season. No reason was given why. Of course, it's obviously an internal thing, more private thing since they are students, but now that team is depleted down to just 22 players, and it was a good Bermudian Springs team. I don't think they're going to be good anymore.
It will be interesting. They didn't say exactly which 11 players were suspended, but you have to expect that some key players were probably involved in that situation. So a couple other games going on. You've got a big game in Lancaster, Lebanon for the title, basically for the title down there, and that's Manheim Central going up against Conestoga Valley, a game that's always a big rivalry down around Lancaster, Lebanon area. You've got Garden Spot going up against Manheim Township tonight, another game that's an interesting one for Middletown's hopes. If Garden Spot loses, Middletown even closer to district playoffs.
3rd and 4 for the Raiders with a double wing and a single setback, and J.J. Baker, long count by Chris Blasi. He's going to go back to pass. He throws, and it's deflected away, incomplete. Big whap in the air by Mike Gallagher to get the hands up, and the Raider punting unit will come in. You mentioned about Manheim Township at Garden Spot, and assistant coach Mike Bertucci, the head coach of Manheim Township. And boy, he could certainly help the Raiders out a little bit with a victory over Gordon.
Former assistant coach under Dennis Etsy, and don't think that Coach Etsy didn't place a call up to his old buddy Mike Bertucci and say, you know, we could really use a little bit of help this week from your guys. He really respects Mike Bertucci's team up there, says they have a lot of good, skilled position players and a team capable of an upset.
J.J. Baker is back to punt, standing at his own 36-yard line. Long count, good snap, plenty of time. Wobbly punt, far side. Taken by the Panthers. That's Calvin Everett. Not much of a gain as he gets up to about the 30-yard line.
Everett's a guy who returned a kickoff for a touchdown last week against Mechanicsburg. But besides that, the East Pennsboro offense did less than nothing against Mechanicsburg. And really, this team needs to get out to a quick start. Has to open holes up for Rodney Hart to get some confidence back in their offense that probably Mechanicsburg took out of them last week.
Quarterback Clayton Brinzer. He's the cousin of Josh Schiavone. Flag's thrown. Brinzer back to pass, and he is sacked by Middletown's Craig Rao. But again, a flag is thrown as soon as the ball was snapped. Obviously an offside, I would assume.
Well, if it's offside against Middletown, it would have been Rao. It appears it would have been Rao because he just flew through the line, but it was illegal motion against East Pennsboro, and the guy who moved obviously didn't help block Craig Rao because there was just a big hole up through the middle. Rao chasing Brinzer all the way and had just enough speed to catch up to Brinzer, who was not aware of Rao, right in his face immediately.
It's a 10-yard loss, brings up a second down and 20, a slot to the near side. Single setback. Give is up the middle and no gain for Rodney Hart as he is stopped at the line of scrimmage. It will bring up a 3rd and 20 now for the Panthers at their own 20-yard line. We have 8:35 and counting. First quarter, no score in Middletown and East Pennsboro. John Wilsbach, Brian Kaiser, Steve Leedy. Our wireless man tonight, Mark Arnold and Matt Demme. Our assistant is Scott Balin. Engineer Tim Starlepper, studio producer Justin Perry. Brings up 3rd and 20. Banks are split with a slot to the far side. Brinzer back to pass. Throws left. Knocked up in the air and incomplete. Almost picked off by Jesse Dupes. It was intended for Calvin Everett. It will bring up a 4th down and the punting unit comes in.
And this East Pennsboro team, it's a team that is not good in long yardage positions on 3rd and long, and they like to run the football, and you're going to see Middletown fans are going to hear play calling just very similar to Middletown. Hard left, hard right, and hard up the middle all game long. That's what East Pennsboro likes to do.
Punting situation, high snap, pulled down, off in time. It'll be taken right at midfield by Chris Blasi, who will down it right there at the 50-yard line. So the Raiders set up shop where they kind of ended on the last series. No score here in the first quarter. Glad to have you along on WMSS. Fine homecoming weekend last week. Sorry I missed such an outstanding game.
And you got to witness such a bad game.
A brutal game with the Harrisburg Heat in Cleveland, yeah. First and 10 for the Raiders against Foyle's backfield. Give J.J. Baker off left tackle. Finds a hole. He skirts inside the 40-yard line down to the 38 for a first down.
And you could just tell what the power of J.J. Baker does on that play is Calvin Everett was the man who finally brought him down. And the way he did it was, instead of going up to meet Baker, he backed up a couple of feet and just let Baker bowl him over and brought him down that way. Unfortunately for Everett on that play, Baker gets an extra 5 yards because Everett didn't go up to try to stick him.
First and 10 for Middletown. At the 38 of East Pennsboro. Pro T in the backfield, all 3 players. Blasi gives Coleman, sweeping left again, finds another hole, now cuts it back the other way. He's down inside the 30, down to the 25, the 20, and taken down at the 19-yard line. Another first down for the Raiders.
And we're seeing exactly what we saw last week in the lowered Dolphin game for Middletown. When Middletown wanted to move the ball on the ground, they went behind the left side of the line. And Over there on that left side, Mike Dupes back from injury. He's been out for 2 games now with an injury. He's back this week. He's over at the guard position along with Craig Rao and your center, Brian Widener. And they're also sending the unbalanced left this time with Ed Fox, the other tackle, lining up next to Rao.
Backs are split. J.J. Baker gets the carry this time, runs into a wall, then decides he'll go left and gets inside the 15 to the 14. So Baker trying to follow the blocking, which started going nowhere, so he said, fine, I'll just run around you. And he picks up a good 5 on the carry, brings up a 2nd and 5 for Middletown at the 15 of East Pennsboro. We'll call it actually a 2nd and 6. Raiders again, split backs. Baker Coleman, Dupes wing to the near side. Wazzy gives to Baker, this time off the right side, moves on tackle, down inside the 5. He's close to the goal line. They will mark him down at the 1-yard line.
And what you saw there would have been J.J. Baker, instead of going left, Middletown crossed up East Pennsboro. East Pennsboro sent the blitz, sent a little bit of pressure over against the left side of the Middletown offensive line, so Middletown crossed it up. They went to the right side this time. Huge hole for Baker. 1st and goal at the 1.
Backs are split. Wing near side, Blasey gives to Baker, gets hit, but he plunges in for a touchdown. So the Raiders have taken a 6-0 lead.
And just great blocking for the Middletown offensive line. Actually, there was decent penetration as one player from East Pennsboro got into the backfield, but Baker had plenty of momentum as he hit the line hard. 2nd effort, dove into the end zone, touchdown Middletown.
Here's the extra point. The hold, kick by Blasey, through the uprights. Timeout on the field, 5:55 to play, 1st quarter. It's Middletown 7, East Pennsboro 0. This is the Blue Raiders Sports Network.
Talk about service. The people here are so friendly. They're just terrific. Talk about value. I like Fox's because of the convenience, the quality, the prices. Talk about quality freshness.
I especially like the meats and the produce.
Let's talk about all the reasons why Fox's Market make you feel good. Fox's Market.
Fox's is a proud supporter of Middletown athletics.
Make you feel good. Fox's Market make you feel good.
Welcome back. John Wilsbach, Ryan Kaiser, 7-0 in favor of the Middletown Blue Raiders on a 1-yard touchdown plunge by J.J. Baker.
That drive for Middletown 5 plays 50 yards, took only 2 minutes and 2 seconds, and Baker scores yet another touchdown this season. 4 carries for Baker on that drive. Carries of 12, 5, 14, and then the 1-yard touchdown plunge. Just a tremendous drive and almost all J.J. Baker.
So Middletown draws first blood, and the Raiders will now kick off. Blasey approaches, low squib, takes a weird bounce to the near sideline and goes out of bounds. So flags will of course be flown. We'll see where East Pennsboro wants the football. They get their chance of the re-kick. And I believe are they going to take it? Or are they going to take it at the 35? Yep, they're going to take it at the 35. So the Panthers will get the football. Okay, field position.
Panthers opt to take the ball at the 35-yard line where it's 1st and 10.
One player not active this week from Middletown is Corey Reed, and he was a player who really was playing a lot on the defensive line at the defensive end position. Steve Rare has taken his place in the Middletown defense.
Brinzer gives it a backfield. Hart, the give, and no gain. Loses 2 on the carry. Middletown defense penetrating quick, and that was Josh Schiavone getting in there.
And also making the cleanup hit on that one was the middle linebacker, Randy Hefner. In that situation, that's a play that Middletown has been susceptible to in the past, and that is the draw play. And Brinzer makes a pass, a quick pass, hands it off to his running back, who is just standing in the backfield waiting for the ball. And that time, Hart had a little bit of daylight. It closed quickly as Hefner closed the hole, made the big stop for Middletown.
I'm going to say you got back to the line of scrimmage on the progress, so it's 2nd and 10. Single setback. Man in motion on the far side gives him a trips formation. Brinzer back to pass. He's going to scramble to the far side. He's got some pressure. Fox is over there. Fox will take him down. Fox nails him all the way back at the 30-yard line. It'll be a loss of about 5 yards.
You got to give a lot of credit to the Middletown defensive secondary that time, because Brinzer had time to throw the ball in the pocket, and finally, with the secondary's coverage, it gave Craig Brown a chance to flush the quarterback out, run him towards Ed Fox, who had enough speed on the outside to catch Brinzer and cut off the ankle, bring him down for a big loss on the play.
So it brings up a 3rd down and 15 for East Pennsboro at its own 30. Slot near side, Twins far side. Brinzer back to pass. He has to unload. He had 2 men in his face, and now we get a flag thrown.
We're going to get grounding.
Yeah, I was going to say it was grounding because nobody was in the vicinity.
Well, there was somebody in the vicinity. It was his offensive tackle, Will Fry. As most of you may know out there, your offensive tackles are just not allowed to catch passes. And it's a good reason that offensive tackles are not allowed to catch passes, because most of them just can't catch passes. And for that reason...
And it wasn't a legal man downfield. That's what they just ruled it, yeah? Good call. You saw the lineman, but...
Well, it was close.
It could have been either one. You could have called either one.
Well, it could have very easily been grounding, because there was obviously nobody there, and he was just trying to unload before Gary Coleman cleaned him up from the defensive end position.
Well, the Raiders declined. High snap on the punt, but he gets it away. It'll bounce to the near side, and it'll go out of bounds in Middletown territory at the 39-yard line. So that's where the Raiders will set up shop. 4:07 to play, first quarter, 7-0 Middletown.
About 39-yard line.
Coming up after this evening's game, we have Middletown Forum, our public affairs show. This week we feature Middletown School District Feeser Middle School Principal Russ Eppinger, talking about middle school environment, things like that. If you're a parent of a middle school student, and you definitely want to make sure you stay tuned after the game for the program. 1st and 10 for Middletown, back split, give right side. J.J. Baker going up the middle and gets across the 40 to the 43-yard line, a gain of about 4 yards. What year was Russ Eppinger the All-Star CAC tight end? Can you figure that? I don't think you were even born, were you?
I sort of doubt it. The only thing I know sports-wise about Russ Eppinger is he's a pretty good golfer.
Oh, well, that he is, too.
He could wax you out there on the course.
Anybody can wax me. Blasey will give to Coleman. Sweeping right, tries going up the middle. Gets to about the 45. It's a gain of 1. 1964, says Larry Etter. 63. And that was the year that Middletown won their first CAC championship outright. They had won it as co-champions, I think, in 61, and 63 they won it outright that year. Third down and 4 for Middletown at their own 45. Backs are split. Wide far side, East Pennsboro jumps offside. And they should give Middletown a first down.
Well, that is if the defensive nose tackle for East Pennsboro actually did cross the line, which I believe they are going to say he did. The penalty against Will Fry, defensive nose tackle for East Pennsboro, but fortunate for Middletown that he did make a little bit of contact up the middle. It didn't look like much contact. And Middletown, the entire team then jumped off sides on the next count because the center never snapped the ball. So very fortunate for Middletown that up the middle it was, Torrey Steigelman, who was called offsides for East Pennsboro.
1st and 10 for Middletown at the 50-yard line. Slot near side, backs are split. Blasey gives to Coleman. He's going to sweep near side. Now decides to try and cut it back up the middle, but he's got a couple men on him. He'll go nowhere. It'll bring up a 2nd down and 10. Can you,
No.
Can you name the quarterback back in 63?
Yeah, it's right on the tip of my tongue.
Oh, no, Larry Etter's down here from the Press and Journal. He's thinking. You can see the wheel going.
I'm glad you're not asking me these questions.
No. Jim Sniskak. Yep. And the running back. And the running back you should get. We'll see. 2nd and 10. Slot near side. Backs are split. Back to pass. Blasey. Pump fake. Now we'll scramble to the right. He unloads. Incomplete. Just a yard or two too far in front of Coleman. Brings up a 3rd and 10. Tony Colston. In fact, I think that year he was the state's leading scorer. 166 points, is that right? Wow. Yeah. Oh, yeah, a bunch of guys. Oh, a lot of Middletowners remember the names. Lou Souders on that team. Third and 10 for Middletown. Wing near shot. Backs are split. Blasey will give to Coleman. Tries going up the middle. Only picks up 2 yards on the carry. It will bring up a 4th and about 8. And the punting unit comes in for Middletown.
We'll take a quick timeout from Jeopardy. And just refer to the fact that East Pennsboro, very impressive stop that time defensively against Middletown, as Middletown 2 passing plays, 1 passing play, 2 running plays, and East Pennsboro up to the task there.
Hey, this is good stuff. This is 31 years ago, man. J.J. Baker punts it. It'll be taken far side. Everett breaks it loose out of the 35 to the 40 across midfield. Fumbles the football, scramble on the ground in Middletown territory, but the Panthers fall on it at the 42-yard line.
J.R. Weldon with the recovery as Everett just busted the seam. Middletown, the punt from Baker went over to the left side, and the coverage team from Middletown did not react to the punt going over the left side. They went straight down the field, and that gave Everett a chance to set up his blockers for the wall going down the left side of the field, cut it back to the inside. And the reason he fumbled was because he was trying to avoid the player up the middle, and that was Coleman, and he just got blindsided by a Middletown player. Not sure who it was. They just knocked the ball loose, but very opportunistic. Weldon with the recovery.
Everett goes in motion, but the give is up the middle to Corey Groff. No gain on the carry. Brings up a 2nd and 10 at the Middletown 41-yard line. 19 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. 7-0 Middletown. We'll see if the Panthers can get one more playoff before the quarter ends.
Well, their biggest play so far in this quarter, a 38-yard punt return that just occurred a play ago from Calvin Everett.
1 second remaining in the quarter, and they're not going to do it. We've played 1 quarter here at East Pennsboro High School and George R. Saxton Memorial Field. Our score, Middletown 7, East Pennsboro nothing. Back with the second quarter on the Blue Raider Sports Network.
Metzler's Hillsdale Nursery in Londonderry Township has a variety of plants and flowers like hollies and azaleas. We see young plum and crabapple trees. In December, don't forget that Metzler's has Christmas trees. They even have mulch. Metzler's is open 8 a.m. till 7 p.m. weekdays, 8 till 5 on Saturdays. That's Metzler's Hillsdale Nursery at Hillsdale Road and Geyers Church Road near Sunset Golf Course in Londonderry Township.
Back 7-0 in favor of Middletown. John Wilsbach, Brian Kaiser, Steve Leedy. Brian Kaiser just overwhelmed by the nostalgia of Middletown football.
Excuse me, I wasn't even in the womb yet, let alone born.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I wasn't either. Oh, goodness. Larry Etter down there. You can see the gray hairs just growing real quick. East Pennsboro with the football as they now go from right to left again. This to Hart, sweeping on the right side, dodges a couple tackles, gets around the outside, picks up a first down right around the 30-yard line. And for those of you who want to catch the highlights tonight on television, we notice that Fox 43, their news at 10, they have a camera here, and also the fine folks at TV 27 are here this evening. So for those of you who want to see highlights, TV 43 News at 10, Channel 27 News at 11. It was like helping you out in case you can't make the game. That way you don't have to sit there and channel surf all night long and hit that PC button, keep switching back and forth.
Heck, I do that anyway.
Well, yeah.
I just go bouncing back and forth between 2, 3, 4 on the cable, and
well,
5 or
PBS and the Weather Channel don't count, Brian.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, they are going to pick up the first down by a scant inch or two. Biggest gain by far for East Pennsboro. Their biggest gain to that point was 1 yard in the first quarter, and now that gain right there gave them 10. And a first down.
At the 31, Brinzer back to pass, looking left, looking. He's got some time. He's got plenty of time now. He's going to have to do something. He throws it, almost intercepted, but incomplete. Treader stepped in front of the man, but could not hold on. Mike Treader, he may have lifted the head up and saw some daylight and couldn't hold on to the football.
And Bill Stamm was the intended receiver, but that's a great play from Treader. Plenty of time back there for Brinzer in the pocket, but it's a play that defensive backs call poaching. And that is, you bait the quarterback, you lay off of the receiver, and you give him the impression that the receiver is open. The quarterback throws the ball, you quickly step in there and try to time it perfectly, and that time, just a little bit too much daylight for Treader.
2nd and 10, Brinzer, quick pitch, right side, goes to Everett. He's not going to pick anything up on the option to the right side. He's back to the original line of scrimmage, brings up a 3rd and 10. Early here in the second quarter, 7-0 in favor of Middletown. Middletown Blue Raiders on a winning streak here in divisional play. The Panthers will go with a trips to the near side. 3 receivers. Brinzer back to pass. Looks. Throws. He's got a man. It's complete. And out of bounds at the 20-yard line is Rodney Hart. Rodney Hart given too much room along the near side.
And that's exactly what the problem was, John. Rodney Hart came in motion out of the backfield to the near side, turned it upfield, and the 2 receivers in the trips formation cut to the inside. That opened up the outside for Hart, and Mark Savnak just a little bit late in the reaction, picking up the man to the outside, and that was Rodney Hart. Another first down for East Pennsboro.
They're at the 20-yard line of Middletown, and they go with a power eye to the right, but then they make a backfield switch. Man in motion is Everett, and the give will be off left tackle. I believe it goes to Groff, and he will pick up a couple yards on the carry, brings up a 2nd and 8. You know, the nice thing, I think, for Middletown is the fact that East Pennsboro is showing them 3-4 receivers on a lot of these plays, and you know, the Raider secondary is going to have to get used to it, because next week against Mechanicsburg is going to be a pass game. They're going to be all over.
Big difference. Clayton Brinzer, not taking anything away from him, but he's not Mike Edwards. That is a tremendous quarterback at Mechanicsburg.
Trips, near side. Brinzer back to pass, little flare out, and Hart gets it, but he will go nowhere as the Raiders put the defensive stop on him. Gary Coleman had him held on for dear life, didn't fully take him down, but enough that the referee was going to blow the whistle. And it will be a loss of several yards.
And it was very close to a lateral in that play as Brinzer got rushed at the beginning, but the referee immediately showing the motion for pushing his arm forward, showing that it was, in fact, a forward pass, but immediately the rush was there on Brinzer. He had to get rid of it quickly and before he wanted to, and that gave Coleman plenty of time to react on the outside, picking up Hart, who was not quite ready to pick up receiving that pass.
It'll be a loss of 10 yards, brings up a 3rd and 20 for East Pennsboro at about the 29 of Middletown. Brinzer again back to pass, slant in pattern. He finds a man, that's Groff, dodges one tackle, then gets knocked down by another one. Check that, it's Brock Lawley And Lawley on the quick slant and reception gets back close to the original line of scrimmage. He's going to be a few shy of that. It brings up a 4th and 13.
4th and 14.
And now what are the Panthers going to do here?
It looks like
they're going to try the field goal.
They're going to kick the field goal in.
Bill Stum, a senior, 5'8", 140 pounds.
It's a 42-yard attempt.
Now he's going to move it up a little bit.
That's a good move because 42's pretty long. You want to get as much yardage as you can.
Snap. Hold. The kick is blocked. Ed Fox is running it down. He picks it up and is tackled at midfield. Ed Fox with the block, the grab, the run, and the Raiders have a football.
You know, John, Ed Fox has been getting great penetration all season, especially the last few games on punts for the opposition. And he's almost gotten to a few punts. And it's a field goal attempt this time. On a 42-yarder, you got to keep the ball low if you're going to have any chance to get it there. Fox got great penetration from the end position, stormed inside, got the big paw up, and even recovered it. A big play from Middletown.
1st and 10 for the Raiders at their own 49. Baker up the middle. Gets to the 45 of East Pennsboro, a gain of 6. Midway through the second quarter, 7-0 in favor of Middletown. A 1-yard touchdown carry by Baker, and now a blocked field goal with Middletown getting the football courtesy of Ed Fox.
That's really got to be disheartening for East Pennsboro because even if they miss the field goal there, Middletown picks up possession somewhere around the 33-yard line. Instead, Fox blocks the field goal, recovers it, and now they get a great field position at midfield.
2nd and 4 for the Raiders and an offside on the, it looked like the left end for the Raiders.
Bob Fitzgerald over there.
Yeah.
He didn't even get set that time. It didn't appear on the opposite side of the field and just dove across the line. It looked like Middletown probably was going with a quick count there, and Fitzgerald even beat that one.
Well, the Raiders have Mike Dupes back in uniform this week, but Dennis Etsy says he'll probably only use him offensively and in spots. And as you mentioned, Corey Reed, the senior, is out for 1 game due to academic reasons. And we have a timeout on the field, 7:21 to play, second quarter. And our score is Middletown 7 and East Pennsboro nothing. This is the Blue Raiders Sports Network.
They're America's Most Wanted. And if you're in need of a haircut, style cut, or perm, you can find America's Most Wanted. Their names are Doug, Bob, Sherry, Nancy, and Virginia. They can be found at the Olmsted Plaza Barbershop and Beauty Shop. They have the look for every man, woman, and kid. Middletowners want them, and Middletowners find them at the Olmsted Plaza Barbershop and Beauty Shop at the James Way Plaza. Open Mondays through Thursdays from 9 until 7, Friday from 9 to 6, Saturdays 9 to 3.
And our score at Garden Spot in Manheim Township, 7-0, Garden Spot winning. And that's after 1 quarter of play. Again, 7-0, Garden Spot winning. Back out to John Welsbach with the play at East Pennsboro.
Thank you very much, Justin Perry. We'll be keeping tabs of those games tonight. Garden Spot leading 7-0 after 1 quarter. Middletown the football, 2nd and 9 at midfield. Baxter split with a wing to the far side. Check that, a slot far side. Will flare out pass to the near side. Coleman gets it, dodges 1, 2, 3 defenders, but will only pick up 1 yard on the reception as he's taken down at the 48-yard line. Brings up a 3rd down and about 8 for Middletown.
John, do you get the feeling that East Pennsboro thinks that Middletown's going to run the ball every time they come to the line? They've got 8 or 9 guys just standing on or at most 2-3 yards away from the line of scrimmage on every single play, and sometimes they even move the safety man up to about 5 yards off the line of scrimmage. I mean, it's quite obvious Middletown is going to run the ball. That's what they want to do, and East Pennsboro is going to say, you're going to have to beat all 11 of us. The drawback for that defense, a player breaks one past the first 5 yards. He's gone. There's nobody there to catch him.
Legor, Dupes, and Coleman in a trips to the far side. And the Raiders have a split to the near side. Single setback is Baker, who gets the give up the middle and will be stopped. It's a gain of about 1 or 2 yards. Brings up a 4th down for Middletown. I'll tell you, the Panther secondary is not very tall. And I'm surprised that with guys like Sevenak and Schiavone for Middletown, even Sayers, that, you know, the Raiders don't try to exploit the secondary in this game, see what they can get away with.
Well, Middletown still remembers the fact that they were able to move the ball so well on the ground, just at will on their second drive of the football game. And they've been going to the well a little bit too often on the last couple series, and they've been stopped by a decent interior defense from East Pennsboro.
Baker back to punt. High end over end. It'll be taken by Everett. He fumbles the football, but his teammate is right there to fall on it at the 16-yard line. And he got some help, thank goodness, by Bill Staub.
And Everett, only a freshman, and that was a freshman mistake there. You've got a man bearing down on you, full steam, and the inclination from a player, a freshman, is, I want to make the big play. I want to get my team back into this game. I just had a 38-yard punt return the last time. I want to make the big play. Doesn't call the fair catch, which is the right thing to do. Instead takes the lick, fumbles the football. Unfortunate to get that back for East Pennsboro.
Single setback, slot far side, quick pitch, Hart sweeping to the right, now cuts it back up the middle. Picks up several yards, fumbles the football around the 27-yard line. Both teams waving that they have it. Big pile right around the 27, 28-yard line. They're trying to clear out 7, 8 players off this pack, and a couple players are fighting for the football.
Well, this usually turns into who's stronger at the bottom of the pile, and the difference there is the players fighting for the football were the East Pennsboro offensive linemen and the Middletown defensive secondary, and most of the time those big guys are going to be able to pull that ball away.
And East Pennsboro does get it, and it is a first down. So first and 10 at the 27, East Pennsboro's own 27. Middletown leading 7-0, 4:50 to play here in the second quarter. Twins to the near side. Brinzer will give up the middle. Hart will go nowhere. Stopped at the line of scrimmage. On the tackle, Brian Widener.
And Widener that time, a great job of just holding up his block and forcing Hart to make a decision to cut to the left of him or to the right of him. Hart trying to cut inside, to the right. Widener just slipped off his block, made the tackle, stepped right in front, and was able to take him down all by himself.
2nd and 9 for the Panthers. Again, Twins to the near side. Make that a trips. They've got a man in motion. Brinzer back to pass, pump fake, now unloads down the near side. Sevenak intercepts it at the 45-yard line. The pass was intended for Calvin Everett. Sevenak was in front of him, backpedaled, stepped up high in the air, and grabbed it down.
Sevenak was beat on that play, and it just shows you what an asset height is at the cornerback position. Sevenak beat by a couple steps, the ball a little bit underthrown. Sevenak able to get back, reach up, and just with his outstretched fingertips, pull the ball down for his 3rd interception of this football season. A great play from Sevenak, but he was beat on the play.
1st and 10 for Middletown. Their own 46. Baker up the middle, gets to the 48. A gain of a couple. 7-0 in favor of the Raiders. You touched a minute, Brian, about just a minute ago about Middletown maybe going to that well too many times with the running game. We know that it works. You've got to get that passing game going. You know, last week if Middletown did not have that touchdown pass from Schiavone, they would have had some big problems. And this past week it was noted in the paper that we are the least passing team in the mid-state. And, you know, when push comes to shove with the big boys, you've got to have a passing game too. It's going to be Blasi on the option. He's going to keep it, goes off left tackle, and will pick up only another yard or two. It brings up a 3rd down and about 6 for the Raiders at the 50-yard line. So now Schiavone brings the play in. Mentioned earlier, he is the cousin of East Pennsboro quarterback Clayton Brinzer.
You've got to figure Middletown on the 3rd and 6th. They've run the ball just exclusively so far in the second quarter. You've got to be looking possibly something across, like maybe even a counter crisscross here.
Backs are split. Back to pass is going to be the quarterback Blasi, and he steps up and is tackled. Mike Gallagher got him. It's a gain of only a few, brings up a 4th down and about 3 for Middletown.
The important thing to remember there is that's the kind of quarterback that Coach Dennis says he likes. A quarterback that, if he doesn't see that definite completion, tucks the ball away, sees a little hole, and runs it himself and tries to pick up the first down himself. It doesn't help your passing stats, but it also gives you an opportunity not to make that big mistake, and that's what Blasey did there.
I think another thing is the Raiders were going on short passing routes that time. I think they've got to open the patterns up, get downfield a little bit further. J.J. Baker on the punt, kind of shanks a little bit, takes a wild bounce, grabbed by Stum, sweeping to the right side, and is down at his 13-yard line. Bill Stum had it bounce off his body, grabbed it again, and East Pennsboro in poor field position, 1:41 to play in the second quarter, 7-0 Middletown. Our halftime guest coming up will be Josh Schiavone, tight end for Middletown.
Had that big catch last week in the homecoming victory for Middletown over Lower Dauphin last week, and I'm sure you touched upon that.
Yeah. It is first and 10 for East Pennsboro. Twins near side, single setback. Brenzer back to pass, looks right, he'll unload, and it is knocked in the air and incomplete or intercepted, incomplete. Sevenak had it, lost it, had it again, could not hold on. An outstanding attempt by Sevenak.
Just one of those plays where Sevenak, again, he got turned around, and that time they went to Stum, and again, it was the long reach of Sevenak that was able to get up, get his hands up in the air, and he tipped the ball. It went off the helmet of Stum, back to Sevenak. He couldn't control it, and it hit off the Stum again, and it was just holding up on his shoulder pads, and Sevenak just could not control the ball and grab it in time. Ball hits the ground, incomplete.
1:12 to play here in the second quarter. Brings up second and 10. Backs are split. Wing to the near side. Brenzer will give to Hart, sweeping. Breaks one tackle by Sevenak, stiff arms another. Picks up the first down. Corey Hart, Rodney Hart, should have been stopped in the backfield. Don't want to get him confused with the rock and roll singers.
Yeah, the one who sang Never Surrender, and that's sort of what Hart's motto has been all year long, because this is a guy who's going to keep those feet churning, and that play made just a little bit of a juke move. Sevenak sort of, we'll just say, not a good effort at that tackle, and Shredder was there to clean it up from the safety position after a big gain.
First and 10 at the 30, Brenzer, quick pass right side, and it is dropped. Hit him square in the numbers as he was looking for Ed Keys, and he couldn't hold on. Stops the clock at 38 seconds.
Homer Simpson would have said don't on that one, because Keys just looking upfield before he caught the ball. And we've said it before this season, and we'll say it again. You've got to catch the ball first, and then you run with it. Keys had a good 10 yards in front of him on that play, and just wanted to run the ball just a little bit too quickly.
Second and 10. Wing near side for the Panthers. They're at their own 30. Now motion by Everett. He'll get the carry, sweeping to the right side. Raiders in pursuit. Everett level hard at the 35-yard line. Mike Trenner put him down hard.
Well, this is a guy who's feeling a lot more comfortable in his role as the safety in Middletown. He's really come on strong with some key tackles, cleaning up some tackles for some players who have missed some tackles in this football game already. He's made 3 stops of Hart already in this football game after he's gotten outside the Middletown containment on the ends.
Clock counting down, a few seconds remaining here, and now East Pennsboro calls timeout. You wonder why they didn't use him up earlier. They finally called timeout with 1 second remaining here in the second quarter, and we'll keep it right here.
You got to remember, you can't take those timeouts with you into the locker room. You sort of start with 3 fresh regardless of how many you use, and they just did not make any effort whatsoever to stop the clock ahead of time, and it's going to be one play, and we'll see what they have in the bag of tricks here.
Well, I'm sure they'll send them all down and throw it up for grabs. Middletown leading 7-0 with 1 second to play, second quarter.
And hopefully we'll have some more scoring updates. The one score that we have so far around the AAA District 3 playoff area was at the end of the first quarter. Garden Spot 7, Manheim Township nothing. Interested to see all of our scores in the listing area. That hopefully will be coming up at halftime, an update of most of those scores, and hopefully an update especially from our correspondent, Paul Yoder. Paul Yoder, who is at the
He's up
Gettysburg West Perry game. We sent him a little bit farther.
Elliotsburg, yeah. I think we had to get him in there on a hot air balloon or something because of the terrain conditions. It's a 3rd down and 3 shotgun for Brinzer. Trips to the near side, wide to the far side. Brinzer back to pass. He'll throw down the middle. It is knocked down, incomplete. J.J. Baker got a hand on it, and we have reached halftime here at George R. Sexton Memorial Field. Our halftime guest is Josh Schiavone. Stick around. Our score, Middletown 7, East Pennsboro nothing. We're at halftime on the Blue Raiders Sports 1. Middletown Blue Raiders leading East Pennsboro 7-0, courtesy of a 1-yard touchdown carry by J.J. Baker. Middletown's Gary Coleman, just, 9 yards?
9 yards away right now.
9 yards away from hitting the 1,000-yard rushing mark for this season. We look forward to... That'd be nice if he did it on a big run, wouldn't it?
Well, obviously, it would be nice for Middletown. I don't think East Pennsboro would be too pleased about that.
Middletown Blue Raiders.
They're kind of slow in getting out here in the second half.
Out of the locker room, we were wondering, East Pennsboro was out there waiting, and the Raiders finally came down the field. I don't know if East Pennsboro just came out early or what, but we are almost set to go here for the second half, and our Justin Perry will keep us abreast of all the scores all night long. So with the third quarter of play-by-play, here's Brian Kaiser.
Thank you very much, John Wilsbach. Middletown again leading at the half. 7-0 over East Pennsboro. The only touchdown, a 1-yard J.J. Baker touchdown run. That came about midway through the first quarter. Blasie's extra point made it 7-0, and that is our score. The wraps have been put on Rodney Hart so far by the Middletown defense, and Blasie will be kicking away here in the second half. Deep to return are Rodney Hart and Calvin Everett. Ball is received at the 15-yard line by Hart. He cuts up the middle, has a seam at the middle. He's at the 45, across midfield, all the way down to the 49-yard line of Middletown, and another big return by the Panther special teams.
Well, there was only one more man to greet him, and that was Gary Coleman. He was standing right around the 40-yard line and waiting for him, but luckily he didn't have to take him down. One more guy got him, and an excellent return by Hart, and we have an injured player down for the Raiders right around the 45.
That's Randy Hefner, who is down. He's been playing on the defensive end for Middletown, and it brings Mike Dupes into the football game at middle linebacker for the first time tonight for Middletown. So Dupes, the original starter, and Dennis Etzi wanted to give Dupes some time off from playing both ways this week. At least this week, Hefner's been doing a great job at middle linebacker, and we'll have to get the update on exactly what is wrong with Randy Hefner.
So we'll take a timeout early on here in the third quarter. Middletown 7, East Pennsboro nothing. Back on the Blue Raiders Sports Network.
Talk about service. People are really friendly, and they're very helpful. They help you find what you need. Talk about value. I've saved as high as $25, $30 in 1 week.
Talk about quality and freshness.
Deli's fresh. Everything's fresher.
Let's talk about all the reasons why Fox's Market make you feel good. Fox's Market.
Fox's is a proud supporter of Middletown athletics.
Make you feel good. Fox's Market make you feel good.
Metzler's Hillsdale Nursery in Londonderry Township has a variety of plants and flowers like hollies and azaleas. They sell young plum and crabapple trees. In December, don't forget that Metzler's has Christmas trees. They even have mulch. Metzler's is open 8 a.m. till 7 p.m. weekdays, 8 till 5 on Saturdays. That's Metzler's Hillsdale Nursery at Hillsdale Road and Gyers Church Road near Sunset Golf Course in Londonderry Township.
They're America's Most Wanted. And if you're in need of a haircut, style cut, or perm, you can find America's Most Wanted. Their names are Doug, Bob, Sherry, Nancy, and Virginia. They can be found at the Olmsted Plaza Barbershop and Beauty Shop. They have the look for every man, woman, and kid. Middletowners want them, and Middletowners find them at the Olmsted Plaza Barbershop and Beauty Shop at the James Way Plaza. Open Mondays through Thursdays from 9 until 7, Friday from 9 to 6, Saturdays 9 to 3.
And an update from our WMSS scoreboard. At the half, at West Perry, we're tied up at 14 apiece. Gettysburg against West Perry again at the half, 14-14. And in Garden Spot, 28-0. Garden Spot leading over Manheim Township at the half. And let's take it back out to John Wilsbach with the play-by-play here on WMSS.
Thank you very much, Justin Perry. Randy Hefner walking off the field very gingerly under his own power. We'll have an update from our wireless microphone men, Matt Demme and Mark Arnold, in just a bit when they find out exactly what happened. But East Pennsboro now will take over. First down and 10, first offensive play of the second half. And it is Rodney Hart, the single setback behind Clayton Brenzer. The pitch is to Hart. Sweeping right side, stacked up in the backfield by Ed Fox and yanked down in a fumble, but they're going to say that the ball, the forward progress had been stopped, and therefore East Pennsboro will retain possession.
And I'll tell you, if they hadn't given him that, it was Mike Dupes who just came into the ball game, who came up with a football. But a good defensive read. You know, Hart has had his moments in this game on a good run here and there, and they've got to stay on, hold on for dear life, and wait for that extra help to finally put them down.
The hit on that play, the hit on that play was made not by Ed Fox, but the defensive end on the opposite side, and that is Gary Coleman.
And they're giving forward progress, only 1 or 2 yards behind the original line of scrimmage. Bad call by the officials.
Second and 10, the give is to the deep man in the eye, and that is Jermal Ranson into the football game. He picks up 4 yards up the middle and also loses a piece of his shirt on the way.
Ed Fox got a good piece of him. There was a good piece of shirt and took off about a 12-inch strand of fabric, and that didn't stop him from getting by him.
Third down and 8 upcoming for East Pennsboro. 10:44 left to go here in the third quarter. Brenzer brings the Panthers up to the line. They trail by 7 right now, and they have the power high in the backfield. Now they'll break out of it. Split backs, wing to the near side. Give sweeping left is to Hart, gives it to Everett going the other way in a counter crisscross, and picking up virtually nothing going the opposite way was Everett. And it'll bring up a fourth down, a punting situation upcoming for East Pennsboro.
Well, it was a good read by Middletown that time on that counter crisscross, the double give in the backfield. For a second, it looked like the Panthers had some room, but Middletown stayed in good pursuit to the far side of the field, and Everett getting virtually no gain at all.
East Pennsboro set to punt on 4th and 8. It will be Benoist doing the punting. Kicks the ball down, gets a nice East Pennsboro bounce inside the 10 and down. That's going to be around the 5-yard line, and that's where Middletown will take over possession.
Talk about getting a bounce your way. Whew. Atlanta took that quick hop and just kept on flying down the field. So the Raiders get their first possession deep in their own territory, and a 7-0 lead right now.
Trainer's still working on Randy Hefner on the sideline. We'll have an update on his condition very shortly, but Middletown has possession now. 1st and 10, inside their own 5-yard line. Backs are split behind Blasey. The give is to Baker. Going the right side, he's stacked up after a gain of a couple. And he's pushed back by the East Pennsboro defensive front.
I tell you, the Panthers are not giving up hardly any yardage up the middle in this game. The Raiders have got to keep taking it outside, and they've got to try the air a little bit, but of course they're deep in their own territory, and you know that the offensive play selection, they're not going to take that chance of throwing an interception that deep.
It's going to bring up a 2nd down at 9 as they only give him a yard on the play. Clock is stopped. Timeout. Middletown will take one as well. 8:57 left to go here in the third quarter. Our score, Middletown 7, East Pennsboro nothing. Back with more on the Blue Raiders Sports Network.
Daly's Golf of Middletown caters to the avid Blue Raider sports fan. Daly's Golf has minor engine repair, oil changes, new tire installation. In fact, they do just about everything automotive. Joe Daly or any one of the fine mechanics at Daly's Golf will help you with your automotive needs. Daly's is open Monday through Friday, beginning with early bird service at 5:30 a.m. till 9 p.m. or Saturday from 7 till 5. Daly's Golf at the corner of Main and Spruce Streets in Middletown.
Welcome back. Brian Kaiser along with John Wilsbach here at the George R. Saxon Memorial Field in Enola on the campus of East Pennsboro High School. Our score, Middletown 7, East Pennsboro nothing, 8:57 left to go here in the third quarter. 2nd and 9 upcoming for Middletown from their own 5-yard line. Give us to Coleman. Sweeping to the left side. He's got a big hole. He's cutting back to the inside at the 30 and brought down at the 33-yard line, making the 28-yard line, and that is over 1,000 yards on the season so far for Gary Coleman on that carry.
Nice carry, and again, East Pennsboro reading up the middle, concentrated on up the middle, and the Raiders swept it to the outside. Coleman, a couple of nice juke moves, able to pick up the first down, get some good yardage, go over the 1,000-point plateau again this season.
22 yards on the carry for Coleman, and that puts him 13 yards over the 1,000-yard mark on the season. 1st and 10 for Middletown, back split behind Blasey. Give us to Baker, going up the middle. He fumbled there, and he fumbled the football, and East Pennsboro comes up with it. Fumble recovery from Will Fry of East Pennsboro. It looked like the handoff never got underway. Bad exchange from Blasey and Baker. Coughs the ball up from Middletown, and great field position now for East Pennsboro. .10 and counting left to go here in the third quarter. East Pennsboro with the ball on the Middletown 27-yard line. Backs are split behind Brinzer. In motion goes Everett. Back to pass goes Brinzer, looking in the left side. Has a man, but underthrows him just a little bit. Now is his tight end, Cliff Benoist. He was open around the 10-yard line, but the ball underthrown, incomplete. 2nd and 10 upcoming for the Panthers.
And double coverage, was able to stay in front of both of them. Had a good chance at the football, but Brinzer rolling to his left just couldn't get the ball up high enough. Got the hands on it just a little bit, but that was as he was kind of diving down and in a little bit on the ground. Only the second time in this game that East Pennsboro's had this type of good field position.
2nd down and 10 for East Pennsboro. Staub coming to the near side, giving a trips formation. Throw over the middle is intercepted by Mike Dupes. At the 20-yard line, he returns it out to the 30, but a penalty flag is thrown, and I believe it's going to be against Middletown, as it looked like the receiver in the pattern took a shot in the head just as the ball was intercepted by Dupes. We'll see exactly what it was, and it is against Middletown. Not sure who made the hit there, but it is against Middletown. And they're marching off a big one, and it is that personal foul. A shot to the head. Change that. Pass interference against Middletown. You know, John, I believe that's a bad call in that situation, as the ball was intercepted as the hit was made on that play. But in any event, East Pennsboro will have it 1st down and 10 at the Middletown 13-yard line. Everett back to passes Brinzer. He's got a man. Touchdown into the end zone. Cliff Benoist, the tight end. And East Pennsboro within a point on a 13-yard touchdown pass from Clayton Brinzer to Cliff Benoist.
Boy, Benoist wide on the right side, down right down near the corner, and nobody around him. Nobody around the big tight end.
7-6 our score. Extra point will be attempted by Bill Stum. His only other attempt kicking the football in this game. He had a 42-yard field goal attempt blocked by Ed Fox in the second quarter. His attempt to try to tie up the game here. Ball placed down. Kick is up, and it is blocked again by Middletown. A big rush up the middle, and the Blue Raiders escape. They are only up by a point, but they are ahead nonetheless.
Big block, good penetration by the Raiders. Got through that line. About 3-4 players got in there, got the hands up, and hey, who knows with all the time remaining in this game. It may stay a 7-6 game the rest of the way. Who knows? But Middletown still with the lead. Let's go down on the sideline. Our Matt Demme is standing by with an update on Randy Hefner. Matt?
Thanks, John. Randy Hefner suffered a sprained right ankle, and he will not be back in the game. And Gary Coleman had a muscle spasm in his left shoulder, and he will be back. Back to you, John.
Thank you very much, Matt Demme. So Randy Hefner is out. The man that he replaced a couple weeks ago, Mike Dupes, is now back.
With 7:25 left to go here in the third quarter, 7-6. Middletown leading by a scant point over East Pennsboro. Lead only preserved thanks to the second block kick of the game for the Blue Raiders special teams. That drive for East Pennsboro, 3 plays, 27 yards, took 59 seconds, and it resulted in a touchdown pass. Brinzer, 14 yards to Cliff Bunoist, giving East Pennsboro the lead. Kick off takes place. Coleman takes it at the 30, vaults over a player, and gets it out to the 38-yard line. That's where Middletown will set up shop on this drive.
Oh, he almost broke it. He jumped over a man, and somebody got the arm up and tripped him up in the air. And had he gotten a foot back down on the other side of that pile, there was only one man in his way to beat. And with Gary Coleman, little shoulder, little head fake, and change of the leg positioning, and man, he's gone.
Gut check time for the Blue Raiders. They come up. 3 backs spread across in the backfield behind Blasi. Give us to Coleman, sweeping to the left side. Tries to break it outside, has it at the 40-yard line. At the 43-yard line, he steps out of bounds. Gain of 5 on the play for Middletown. Brings up a 2nd down and 5 for the Blue Raiders.
Well, Middletown, again, going with that ground game. And, I really do believe that East Pennsboro secondary not tested at all in this game, and I'd love to see the Raiders go back, give Blasi a little bit of time, and let's see him go deep to a Sevenak or, a Sayers, and maybe that great play that always works with Josh Schiavone, who was our guest at halftime.
2nd down and 5 for Middletown. Blasi doesn't like what he sees. He calls timeout. We'll take one as well. 6:56 left to go in the third. Middletown 7, East Pennsboro 6. Back with more of the third quarter after this on the Blue Raiders Sports Network.
Newcomer Oil Corporation presents Pacific Pride, a new convenient way to purchase gasoline and diesel fuel. Pacific Pride is open 24 hours a day, and it's simple to use. Just use the Pacific Pride fuel card. Fuel up your automobile and be on your way. It's that quick and easy. You also receive monthly discounts for fuel purchases. Pacific Pride is located at the corner of E Mall and Adelia Streets in Middletown. For information about becoming a Pacific Pride fuel customer, call Newcomer Oil Corporation at 944-5251. That's 944-5251.
Welcome back, George R. Saxon Memorial Field. Brian Kaiser along with John Wilsbach. 6:56 left to go here in the third quarter. Middletown leading East Pennsboro 7-6. Middletown with the football.
And the Raiders only one timeout now remaining here in the game.
2nd down, they're going to call it 6 for Middletown. Back split in the backfield behind Blasi. He's going to give it to Coleman. Sweeping right, cuts it back inside. He's in midfield. He's at the 45, brought down from behind at the 34-yard line of East Pennsboro. A big gain for Gary Coleman.
Well, we weren't seeing anything happening up the middle, Brian, and I think that was the difference. You had to start going to the outside for the Raiders, and Gary Coleman is that man who has done it all season long, picking up the yardage. And when you say outside, in many respects it's not true, because he goes outside, and then he decides to cut back it into the middle and go back the other way.
They're going to say he was down at the 35-yard line, pickup of 22 yards for Coleman. 6:30 left to go. Blasi has his team up 1st and 10. And a 7-6 lead. Give us to Coleman, sweeping left side. Tries to kick it outside, following his blockers. Sweeps up ahead, and he's going to be ahead for about, give him 3 on the carry. 2nd down, and we'll say 8 after the spot.
Kind of funny here at Saxon Field, because it kind of sits down in a bowl, and you've got the high ground right around the football stadium here, and You've got a main street right over to the east side of the football field here. You've got about a crowd of about 50, 75 people standing over there and doing the old freebie watch.
Second down and 8. Give us to Baker up the middle. Has a big hole. Pulls his way forward up to the 25-yard line. Close to another Middletown first down.
Now J.J. Baker needs to get the football back again, get some confidence restored. He fumbled that football just a few minutes ago, and you can bet with a guy like that he's not going to do it again. He's got those strong arms. He's going to tuck it in. He's just going to run hard and knock somebody over.
It's going to be third down and 1 for Middletown at the 26-yard line of East Pennsboro. Double tight end wing to the near side. Even an unbalanced to the left side this time. Quick pitch over to Coleman, sweeping right side, and he's going to have the first down, only 3 yards, but he fumbles the football, but they're going to say he is down. And it is a first down for Middletown. Give him 3 yards on the carry. First down up just short of the Panther 22.
To the 22-yard line,
First and 10 for Middletown. They're running that unbalanced line. 4 players to the left of center on the left side. Give us to Baker going that way, and he is brought down very quickly. Making the first hit was Mike Gallagher from his defensive tackle position for East Pennsboro. 3-yard pickup for Baker on that play. 5 minutes and counting left to go here in the third. Middletown driving. They lead right now 7-6. Again, unbalanced line to the left. Backs are split behind Blasey. Long count, give us to Baker. Going off the right side, he's got one man to beat. Just taking the legs out from under him was Calvin Everett.
Calvin Everett didn't even want to try and tackle him. He just kind of threw his body down at his ankles and was able to trip him up.
You know, we saw that in the first half. Another time when he just sort of backed up a little bit, Baker ran him over anyways. This time he just got out of the way. But it's going to give Middletown a first down and goal now at the 8-yard line of East Pennsboro. Sayers splits wide to the left. 2 tight ends in the football game. Give is to Baker going right side behind the blocking of Coleman. Pulls his way into the end zone. Touchdown Middletown Blue Raiders. They go back up on top by 7, 13-6 on a 7-yard touchdown run from J.J. Baker.
J.J. Baker, good carry, had the hole off the right side of the line, going up the middle, ran into a little bit of traffic, decided to spin his body left, get around the block, get around the defender, and that got him into the end zone standing up.
Blasey for a very important extra point for the Blue Raiders. They lead by 7. This would make it 8. Legor places it down. Blasey kick up. Kick is good. Timeout in the action will take one as well. 4:11 left to go here in the third quarter. Middletown out on top. 14-6 over East Pennsboro. Back with more on the Blue Raiders Sports Network.
Are you concerned about the future financial security of your family or business? When was the last time you had your life and disability insurance reviewed and your investment and retirement program analyzed? For answers to these important questions, call a professional, Tim Knoll, COU. He is a local chartered financial consultant with more than 28 years experience. Call Tim at 939-0968 for a free consultation. That's 939-0968.
Welcome back to the George R. Saxon Memorial Field here in Enola. Middletown now on top of East Pennsboro here in the third quarter, 14-6.
And don't forget, you can catch these games on videotape for only $10. They sell them at all Middletown home games. You can get all the games of this season this coming Friday night. You can also get the game at the Middletown Recreation Office or at Fox's. I know Fox's, we got to get a few of the newer game tapes to them, but they should have them on hand sometime early next week.
Blasey kicks it off, bounces down at the 25-yard line, picked up by Everett, and he is taken out from under him. It was Mike Trenner quickly down on the special teams.
I'll tell you, East Pennsboro's special team guys have had a hard time of it in this game because when they're getting the football and the kickoffs are either dropping in or running in the zone, tripping, and this time, bam, picked up by Calvin Everett, and he went down quickly as Tretter went flying into him.
Last touchdown drive for Middletown, 8 plays, 61 yards, took 3 minutes and 4 seconds, culminated in the J.J. Baker 8-yard touchdown run. Middletown leading 14-6, 3:53 and counting left to go here in the third quarter. Single setback behind Clayton Brenzer is Hart. Back to pass goes Brenzer. Looking for a screen pass over the middle, and it's Stamm, incomplete. Coverage made on the play from Middletown. I believe that was Eric Simonetti.
Ed Fox was in there making sure that had the pressure on, and Stamm just underthrown to him, and that was a poor play at screen, I'll tell you. They just had nothing set up. Bad pass, no blocking help. And the Raiders are doing something well defensively.
Second down and 10 for East Pennsboro at the 21. Quick pitch over to Hart. Sweeping to the right side. Cuts back at the 25 and gets up to the 26-yard line.
Jan Michael Lawrence in on the tackle that time for the Raiders.
Give Hart's 5 yards on the carry, and they'll bring up a third down and 5 for East Pennsboro. Big play for both teams coming up here. East Pennsboro trying to get a little bit of momentum back. Middletown trying to keep the momentum going their way. 2 wideouts to the near side. Hart is a single setback behind Brenzer on third down and 5. The draw play. Give us to Hart. He's got room at the 30. Cuts back to the 34, 35, and gets all the way up to the 39-yard line and carrying a couple of Blue Raider tacklers up there. First down for East Pennsboro.
Hart's come up with some big plays when he's had to in this game, and able to get the first down there. Getting very successful in a lot of the sweeps.
Gain of 13 on that play. First down and 10 for East Pennsboro. They'll start things on this one at the 39-yard line of the Panthers. Give is up the middle. Hart pulls his way forward for a couple.
I like what I see out of Rodney Hart. He's only a junior, 5'6", 155 pounds. You know, he's got good speed. Get him in the weight room after this season all year long. And, you know, in high school football, you don't necessarily need the size to be an outstanding running back. You've just got to have some strength and good quickness. And Hart's going to do that, I think, his senior year. He's really going to bust out next year. 58
yards rushing so far in this football game for Rodney Hart. And it's a second down and 8 for East Pennsboro. Give us to Hart, sweeping to the left side. Spun around and brought down by Middletown after a gain of another 2 yards. J.J. Baker, the first one to make initial contact there, and Josh Schiavone cleans up the tackle for the Blue Raiders. Gonna bring up another third down play for East Pennsboro with a minute 47 and counting left to go here in the third quarter. Third down and 6 for the Panthers at their own 43-yard line. A reminder to our listeners that our WMSS scoreboard will be coming up hopefully at the end of this quarter, finding out some scores of games affecting Middletown's playoff chances. Third and 6, Brenzer back to pass, fires into the right flat. Ball looked like it skipped, but instead they're going to call it a completed pass up to Bill Stamm. It's going to be a gain of 4, and it's going to bring up a fourth down and 2 for East Pennsboro, and they're going to bring on the punting unit.
I'll tell you, you saw what Dennis Etsy saw. I thought the ball skipped on the ground and then went to the hands of the receiver because he was down there waving and all, saying incomplete, yelling about it, but they give it a complete pass, and East Pennsboro appears to be in punt formation, but I'll tell you, when you're near midfield, you never know.
Rodney Hart is the man directly behind the center. We'll see what happens. And it is the quick snap. Hart takes it around the right side. Great play from the Middletown defense. As they were not told, it's going to be very close. Steve Rear was the man over there making the tackle on the far side. Jan Michael Lawrence thinks they have it, but the referees want to measure to make sure.
I'll tell you, it's going to be very close, and if he has it, it's going to be by about an inch.
Based on the spot that we see and where the yard markers are, it looks like he's about a half a yard short from over here, but this field looks a little bit spooky, and you know, it's around Halloween time. The East Pennsboro team has those black and orange on, but it's going to be stopped short. It is a half yard short. Middletown holds. Great special teams play for the Blue Raiders.
Now, you can see that when you're coming near the end of the third or you're in the fourth, and you're down by 1 touchdown. You haven't had all that great field position. You're in midfield, go ahead and try it. Hart's been very successful on the series, picking up 3, 4, 5 yards on carries, and they thought, well, here's a good opportunity, and the Raider defense was ready for it. You could tell them the sideline was yelling out to them, warning them about it, and they pursued quite well and stopped him short.
Blasey brings his troops up, man split to the far side, give us the Coleman coming near side, sweeping to the outside, now cuts it back and has very little, maybe a half a yard, and that is all. Doing a great job over there at the defensive end position, Corey Groff.
And that will probably be the last play of the third quarter, and I would expect seeing the Raiders have the football here, come out in the fourth quarter, use that ball control, use the clock, and hopefully keep possession.
We'll see if they can hold on to the lead. Our score at the end of 3 quarters of play here at the George R. Saxton Memorial Field in Enola. Middletown 14, East Pennsboro 6. We'll be back with the fourth quarter of action here on the Blue Raider Sports Network.
Now you can catch the excitement of Blue Raider football on videotape. The Blue Raider Sports Network and the Middletown Athletic Department presents Middletown football on VHS. All the games, home or away, recorded on videotape with the actual WMSS broadcast. Save all the exciting moments of Middletown football for years to come. Each tape costs just $10 and proceeds benefits WMSS Student Radio and Middletown Athletics. You'll never miss a game again. Tapes available at all Middletown home games or by calling the Middletown Recreation and Athletic Office. Get your Middletown football game tape today.
Welcome back to the George R. Saxton Memorial Field here in Enola. Middletown leads at 14-6. They had the ball 2nd and 9 on the East Pennsboro 47-yard line after stopping the Panthers on a fake punt at midfield. And now for the fourth quarter of action, here is John Wilsbach.
Thank you, Brian. Middletown 2nd and 9. Football's at the 48 of East Pennsboro. Backs are split with a wing to the near side. Chris Blasey. He'll give to Coleman, who's going to try to sweep, but he will be taken down for a loss of several yards. In there right away to make the stop, Justin Walker, a 6'1 junior. And now East Pennsboro's starting to catch on, Brian. They're seeing the sweeps. They know that they're going to be going up the off the ends each time with Coleman. You've got to mix it up.
9-man front that time. The safeties, again, only 5 yards off the line of scrimmage, and no cornerbacks on that play. There was nobody on the outside. They were relying on their linebackers to keep the containment. That time they were able to get good penetration and stop Coleman for a huge loss.
Third down and 18 for Middletown at their own 44. You know, we haven't seen Dupes get the football yet. Coleman will get it again and will sweep to the near side. He's out the 45 and taken down at the 50-yard line, back close to the original line of scrimmage. But, you know, again, let's mix it up a little bit here. Jesse Dupes not getting it. Haven't seen the counter crisscross, and again, passing-wise, the game is non-existent.
We saw a fumble on the counter crisscross last week from Middletown. That might be why they're a little bit lenient, a little bit reluctant to go to that one. A tackle on that play made by Paul Ott of East Pennsboro. And, of course, you've got a third down and long. Most times, even the professional teams aren't going to make it on third down and 18. Take the running play, run some more clock. That's the philosophy of Dennis Etsy in that situation.
So J.J. Baker back to punt for the Raiders. Pulls down the snap, unloads the punt. It'll get a Middletown bounce, and the Raiders will be right on it as it bounces down near the 10-yard line. So a good punt by J.J. Baker, and the East Pennsboro Panthers will get the football back. They trail 14-6. Now get it 1st and 10. And, man, I'll tell you, with how low we are on the field, you really got to look through the binoculars to spot. It's right around the 10-yard line.
This is where we need a spotter down on the field. You need somebody telling you exactly where everything is. And, again, Randy, it's Josh Schiavone now who's down on the field injured. And it was tough to see him because the Raider players were already starting to huddle, and Schiavone was still down there on the field. And it looked like there was no contact on the play. It just looked like Schiavone probably just twisted an ankle in that situation, took a wrong step out there on the field. And, you know, John, it looks like, and again, it may be because of this glass, we did clean it before this game here in the press box.
No, we sure did clean it. I don't think it would have been cleaned in like 10 years. They have two press boxes here, a new one on the far side and the old one on the Middletown side. And we like being in the Middletown side, and wow, man, it was ugly. It looked like trick-or-treaters came out and, like, soaped the place.
Well, trick-or-treaters, the scariest thing besides this glass that I've seen all day was Scott Bingaman in drag. That was earlier today at school. They had dress-up day. Oh, my Lord. Not an attractive woman Mr. Bingaman would make.
East Pennsboro with the football, 1st and 10 at its own 10-yard line. Single setback. Brinzer back to pass. Under pressure. He will bite it. As the Raiders, J.J. Baker gets him from behind.
One person who didn't bite it was J.J. Baker, as he didn't buy the play fake one bit. The play fake was the quick pitch out to Rodney Hardin. Normally, Brinzer would have made a good play on that one because it just looked like he just totally stopped, made the pitch fake, and just stopped. Like he had already pitched the ball. He didn't have anything else to do with the play. Picked the ball back up, and Baker was already on him. And just had no choice but to take the sack.
Twins, both sides. Brinzer back to pass. An incomplete near side. He was looking for the quick pump pass to Ed Keys, lining up at wideout. Whereas where you pop it to him on the sideline quick and hope you can get by the man-to-man coverage.
Well, that play Brinzer never set up. He just took a couple steps back and sort of didn't step towards his man. And that's a lot of the reason right now that he's not getting good passes off. He's underthrowing his men, and that is because he's not stepping up in the pocket. He's a little reluctant to do that.
We've got timeout on the field. We're going to take one as well. 9:36 to play here in the fourth quarter. East Pennsboro taking a timeout. Our score is Middletown 14, East Pennsboro 6. This is the Blue Raiders Sports Network.
The moment you walk into Rhodes Pharmacy, you'll notice a difference. You'll see it in the way they act, the way they talk, and the way you're treated. Rhodes Pharmacy is under new management, so whether you need a prescription, a non-prescription item, cards, gifts, or professional advice, the friendly Rhodes staff is anxious to serve your needs. Rhodes Hummelstown store is open 7 days a week. In Middletown, Rhodes Pharmacy is open 9 to 8 Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 on Saturday.
And an update from the WMSS scoreboard. Garden Spot 35, Manheim Township 0 after 3 quarters of play. Again, Garden Spot 35 leading Manheim Township 0 after 3 quarters of play.
All right, thank you very much, Justin Perry. Garden Spot, well, Manheim Township's been pounded the last couple weeks.
Well, you know, you lose a lot of confidence in your defense when you get blown out 75 to 12, so I'm sure a little bit of lingering effects are off of that game. Just a tough game for Coach Mike Bertucci and his Manheim Township team tonight. Game we're waiting for. Halftime was the last score we got from Gettysburg West Perry. 14-all was the score we got from there.
3rd and 11, Brinzer back to pass for the Panthers. He'll throw down the middle. It's incomplete. He was looking for Dom across the middle, but didn't have him. Jesse Dibbs, next closest player, and East Pennsboro will be forced to punt from their end zone.
And again, Brinzer never set his feet in the pocket. He just has those dancing feet back there, and that's forced because of a good pass rush from Middletown in this football game. Brinzer just a little bit reluctant to step up, and that time when he finally did, threw the pass a little bit wild over the middle, incomplete.
Corey Groff back to punt from the end zone for the Panthers. Snap, got some time, unloads it down the middle. Fair catch called for and taken by Chris Blasi, showing some good hands as he catches it at the 39-yard line. So the Raiders up in excellent field position at the East Pennsboro 39-yard line.
And it's obvious that the special teams for Middletown has really been big in this game because they forced a couple fumbles, didn't recover anything for East Pennsboro on fumbles. A couple kickoffs were returned big for East Pennsboro, but never really affected them. But 2 block kicks, the real difference in this football game right now for Middletown.
Backs are split. Wing to the near side. 1st and 10 for Middletown. They lead it by 8 points. Blasi will give up the middle. Baker hits a man, then lunges forward, picks up a few yards on the carry. Gets down to about the 36-yard line of the Panthers. And Brian, again, I don't want to discredit the play calling of up the middle with Baker and around the side to Coleman, but the Raiders have got to mix it up. They really do.
Well, the one thing that you're probably thinking of is the fact that you've got the Mechanicsburg game next week. You've hopefully got playoffs down the road if you're Middletown. And that all depends on other outcomes. They don't control their own destiny to this point. But in this situation, you've got 9 minutes and counting left to go in this ball game. Dennis Etsy's philosophy is run that clock and go with what brung you here.
Out the middle again, J.J. Baker. Picks up maybe a half yard on the carry. I'm just a firm believer that, we're down to about the last 2-3 games of the season. And, offensively, the sweep and the up the middle is beating a lot of the teams, getting the touchdowns on. But if you're going to go far, if you're going to win that game against Mechanicsburg, if you're going to go into the district playoffs, possibly play Manheim Central or something, you better have a more expanded playbook. You're going to need some bigger plays than what they're doing right now. It's 3rd and 8 for the Raiders. Backs are split with a wing to the near side. Blasey will give to Coleman. He's going to sweep to the left side. Tries cutting in, tries cutting out, finds a man, gets the hole in the 30, and breaks down the sideline out of bounds for a first down at the 24-yard line of East Pennsboro.
Well, if Dennis Etsy wanted to plead his case to you, that would be Exhibit A. You've got Gary Coleman in your backfield. Why do you have to risk a pass? An incompletion stops the clock. An interception loses possession for you. Just to give the ball to your talented tailback and let him work the magic he usually does in that backfield. And that time just picked his holes, followed his blockers very well, picks up a huge first down for Middletown.
1st and 10 for Middletown at the 24 of the Panthers. Out the middle, Baker to follow his blocks. And picks up maybe 1 yard on the carry. Jesse Dubes in a brief skirmish with Justin Walker, but quickly separated.
2nd and 8.
Coming off the field right now for Middletown, Mike O'Donnell kind of holding his hand a little bit, but doesn't appear to be in bad shape. 2nd and 9 for the Raiders. Backs are split. Slot to the near side. Blasey gives to Coleman, sweeping to the left, tries cutting up the middle, dodges 1 tackle, dodges 2, pushes off a man, he's in for a touchdown. Gary Coleman. Pennsboro could have had him, should have had him, but Coleman says no and dashes in for the touchdown.
Broke 3 tackles on that play, and you see right there the problem with the Pennsboro defensive strategy. It's been fine all game long until this point. Coleman on that play broke the first tackle, broke the first couple tackles short of 5 yards, and there's a flag on the play.
Well, it was after the play was over with, a little more mouthing, a couple gabbing going on down the end zone, and the Raiders, I guess, just felt they didn't get the right treatment from the Panthers on some of these recent plays, and they're getting caught up a little bit in it.
Again, on that play for Coleman, he broke the first couple tackles. The blitz was on from the left side that time from East Pennsboro. They gambled on a Middletown running to their offensive right side. Instead, Middletown swept it to the short side of the field, coming left, and Coleman broke the first couple tackles, and that's all it took, because there was nobody back at the safety position. Like Middletown had Mike Treader in most of this game. When Hard would break a couple tackles, get into the secondary, Middletown, Coleman had no one to beat in the secondary for East Pennsboro. Easy sailing to the end zone once he broke those 2 tackles.
7:08 to play, 4th quarter, Middletown 20, East Pennsboro 6. The flag thrown after the touchdown, so Middletown's extra point puts them all the way back to about the 18-yard line, and the Raiders will go for the 2-point conversion from the 18. And now we get the flag thrown from the back judge because of a delay of game, so mark it another 5 against Middletown. And the Raiders were initially setting up to kick a long extra point, and things were kind of out of range, and he said, let's try for the 2-point conversion, and we'll see what happens here.
Well, this is the kind of play. You got Mark Sevenak lining up on the far side. This is when you just want to throw the ball up in the end zone, let the big guy go over there and catch it. He's 6'3", give him a shot at it in the end zone.
From the 23 on the extra point conversion, Sevenak is back to pass. He's going to throw from the right corner. He's looking for Sevenak. He's got it! He's got it for the 2-point conversion. A 23-yard 2-point
two-point conversions, but on that play, Sevenak just a little in move, broke it to the outside, and exactly what I had said before the play started, Blasi lofts it up in the air and lets the guy at 6'3" work on the shorter defensive back in that situation. Sevenak knew where the ball was coming, went up for it, and was able to outleap his defender for the 2 points.
I'm telling you, I really do believe, and a reason I stress about the passing game, I believe that Middletown's offense has a sleeping giant in the passing game. I really do believe that they institute score plays. Blasi's got the arm. Sevenak has come to life receiving. You've got Josh Schiavone at tight end who's pulling him down. Fitzgerald, who can grab him. And Jesse Dupes out there many times in the flats and things like that. Oh, I'd love to see just that type of play we just saw there as Middletown leads at 22-6.
It's just not the coaching philosophy. That's the bottom line. It's not that Middletown can't pull it off. It's just not the philosophy of the team.
There's the kickoff. It's a short one, taken around the 30-yard line by the Panthers. And Middletown special teams right there to knock them down at the 35. And I'll tell you, just the way this game has gone the last few minutes, I think we may, see some extracurricular activity because of the way that some tempers who've gotten heated up out there on the field.
Well, we'll see about that. That last drive for Middletown, 5 plays, 39 yards, 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Ended with the Middletown touchdown from Gary Coleman of 21 yards, and on the 23-yard two-point conversion to Sevenak, and Middletown now leads 22-6.
Brinzer back to pass, throws near side, he finds Hart, goes to the outside, dodges Lawrence, dodges Dupes, and then finally drugged down by Treader inside the 40 to the 38-yard line of Middletown.
Jan Michael Lawrence on that play was toast, as on that one, Hart to the outside, made just a sweet move on Lawrence, faked him to the inside, and Lawrence just bit. Dove to the inside, and Hart just went right around him, had the outside corner, and Lawrence has to remember that he's got help to his inside. If he forces Hart back to the inside, he's got guys to help him there. He's got to keep that contained to the outside, because if he lets Hart turn the corner, a big gain like that one occurs.
1st and 10 for the Panthers. Motion by Everett. Brinzer, back to pass, looks left. Little flare out, incomplete. He had Hart wide open, but he couldn't hold on.
And that time Middletown had a little bit of a problem on the coverage, because the running back came out of the backfield, Hart, and it was a linebacker, Mike Dupes, who was assigned to cover him from the middle linebacking position. And in a foot race, folks, Dupes just is not going to be able to keep up with Rodney Hart, and on that play, that's why Hart was so wide open. And that's the coverage problem that Middletown had in that situation, and it could have been a big gain again for Hart.
And going into this game, Dupes says that he's 95% healthy. Dennis Etsy doesn't believe that, believes maybe 85, 90%. Brinzer, 2nd and 10, way back to pass, setting up for the screen, but it is incomplete as he underthrew Calvin Everett. Eric Simonetti is checking into the game for the Middletown Blue Raiders. Dennis Etsy right now starting to realize that some of his two-way players, like Josh Schiavone, going to need a little extra break along the sidelines. Simonetti not seeing much action the last few weeks in there at linebacker, but when he has come in this year, has done a fine job, so he's a fresh body, and you got to get those type of guys in there.
Well, he's been in there a decent bit tonight. He's had a decent amount of playing time, as they've liked to use Schiavone now. They've been running a lot of double tight end situations on offense. So Simonetti has played a decent amount of defense, and he's a good guy to throw in there. He's very aggressive out there on the field for Middletown.
3rd and 10, trips left. Brinzer back to pass, throws left side, incomplete, underthrew by a good mile. Brock Lawley, he was looking for, just kind of lofted it up and short. It brings up a 4th and 10.
Didn't have a prayer on that one, John, and that's because it was Eric Shirk coming up the middle, putting the pressure on Brinzer, and he couldn't step up. And the basic problem there for East Pennsboro was Brinzer could not step up because Shirk was in his face. If Brinzer steps up, he takes a big lick.
Timeout on the field. We'll take one as well. 6:21 to play. 4th quarter. It's Middletown 22. East Pennsboro 6. This is the Blue Raiders Sports Network.
Talk about service.
The people here are so friendly. They're just terrific.
Talk about value.
I like Fox's because of the convenience, the quality, the prices.
Talk about quality and freshness.
I especially like the meats and the produce.
Let's talk about all the reasons why Fox's Market make you feel good. Fox's Market.
Foxes is a proud supporter of Middletown Athletics.
And an update from the WMSS scoreboard. Gettysburg 28, West Perry 14 after 3 quarters of play. And here we go with John Wilsbach out of East Pennsboro.
All right, thank you very much, Justin Perry. Good news for the Raiders as Gettysburg leads that game. Middletown should be happy. 4th and 10. Bridzer back to pass. He's dodging the bullet. He throws. It's incomplete. Good coverage on the far side by Jesse Dupes, and Middletown will get the football back with 6:14 to play here in the 4th quarter. They lead it 22-6, and they've got hopefully a big thank you note going to Gettysburg and head coach Sam Leedy if the Gettysburg high school team can hang on and defeat those West Perry Mustangs.
That game's not over yet, knowing the history of Mid-Penn 3. Normally, the winning team in most Mid-Penn 3 games scores at least 35 points, if not 40-something. So, I mean, there's a lot of time left in that ball game, I'm sure. With a full quarter left, anything could happen, but it's looking good right now for Gettysburg.
1st and 10 for Middletown. Blasey gives up the middle. J.J. Baker plows his way up to the 40-yard line. It's a gain of about 2. It will bring up a 2nd and 8. Sam Leedy, the head coach at Gettysburg, is he Steve's cousin, brother, dad?
No
uncle?
relation.
No relation?
I'm sure that the name Leedy, both Leedys in this situation, both Sam and Steve, rooting for Gettysburg this week as Middletown, because of how that game's looking right now. If that game holds up, it's just James Buchanan who has to lose to either Bermudian Springs or Scotland.
Coleman on the sweep, tries going up the middle, dodges a tackle, dodges another, gets across the 45 to about the 47. He'll be close to a first down, and now a late flag is thrown, and this time they catch the Panthers doing the cheap shot.
Well, it's Justin Walker and Jesse Dupes again. They got into it a little down at the other end, and this time Dupes baiting him out a little bit as they were pushing and shoving, and this time Walker was the one who fired the lick in there, and the one that the referees caught. And Dupes immediately, after he got tagged a little bit, backed up, said, no, it wasn't me this time. You better point your finger the other way at the other team this time.
And they do, and 15 yards will be the little gift for the Raiders, and the first down as well, as it takes the football down to the 38-yard line of East Pennsboro. Clock counting at 5:20 here in the 4th. Middletown 22-6. Raiders break out and huddle with a split backfield, wing rather slot to the near side. Chris Blasey, long count, gives up the middle. Baker finds the hole, gets tripped up inside the 35 to about the 34. It's a gain of a few, brings up 2nd down for Middletown. Coming up after the game, Middletown Forum interview tonight with Feaser Middle School Principal Russ Eppinger. If you're a parent or know a parent of a student in Middletown's Feaser Middle School, I want to tell them to tune in and stay tuned in after the game. Middletown, 2nd down and 6 at the 34, double wing. Jesse Dupes will get the give. He's going to sweep to the right side, cuts it up, picks up about 2 yards on the carry to the 32-yard line.
And his good buddy and friend from this game, they've gotten to know each other quite well. Justin Walker said, I just got the penalty against me because of this guy. I'm going to run him down all the way from my defensive end position. And, good pursuit that time from Walker. Chases Dupes right into the hole and stops him for a short gain.
Brings up a 3rd and 4 for Middletown. Backs are split with a wing to the near side. Ozzie gives left side. Baker finds the hole. Picks up the first down inside the 30 to about the 28-yard line.
The honest truth, John, is the fact that Middletown's offensive line is now wearing down the East Pennsboro defensive line. This is a team from East Pennsboro. Not a lot of players that, not a lot of their key players can afford not to go both ways for this team, and they're really starting to wear down a little bit. The Middletown offensive line able to push forward, and Baker's going to be close to a first down. We thought he was a little further ahead than they gave him credit for, but he will have the first down by half a ball length.
A little internal squabbling going on amongst the Panther defense, and a couple players there just not happy with each other. Will Fry and Mike Gallagher having a few words in the huddle and a little pushing as well. But they clear it up, get back out in their defensive set. 1st and 10 for Middletown. At the 29, up the middle, Baker again. Inside the 20, to the 15. Back down at the 10. Nope, he's going to carry a man. He's in for a touchdown. He strikes 2 men with him. J.J. Baker does the horsey back ride. Baker got knocked hard, was off balance at the 10, had 2 men on him and just kept dragging him in.
Ride him, cowboy J.J. Baker, the bucket Bronco this time. The big bruising fullback just drags both Corey Groff and also Calvin Everett all the way into the end zone, and Middletown looks like they put this one away, 28-6.
J.J. Baker, 29 yards on the carry. Makes it 29-6. Blasey is in for the extra point. They go to hold. There's a snap. Hold. Kick is up. And it is good. Timeout on the field. 3:20 to play. Score. Middletown, 29. And East Pennsboro 6. This is the Blue Raider Sports Network.
They're America's Most Wanted. And if you're in need of a haircut, style cut, or perm, you can find America's Most Wanted. Their names are Doug, Bob, Sherry, Nancy, and Virginia. They can be found at the Olmsted Plaza Barber Shop and Beauty Shop. They have the look for every man, woman, and kid. Middletowners want them, and Middletowners find them at the Olmsted Plaza Barber Shop and Beauty Shop at the James Way Plaza. Open Mondays through Thursdays from 9 until 7, Friday from 9 to 6, Saturdays 9 to 3.
Welcome back. John Wilsbach, Brian Kaiser.
And the Middletown coaching staff, John Dickey and Mike Schatz, both were over top of us tonight, watching the game, sending play calls down, and they have joined the other coaches on the field. They have decided that enough is enough. They're getting a pretty good gust from up on top of us up there. Not a lot of protection. They're done for the evening up there, as this game looks like it's all wrapped up. 29-6, Middletown leading this football game by a very comfortable margin.
And Chris Blasey to kick it off. High, end over end, but short. And it's taken on the far side, and trying to scramble all over the place is Benoist, and he's going to scramble back to the near side and tackled from behind by a couple Middletown Raiders. The main one that got him was Eric Shirk. Benoist for a second looked to be stopped over on the far side. Kind of the same way that I thought that Baker was stopped around the 10, and all of a sudden he just shows life and comes back to the near side. J.J. Baker. I wonder if those guys paid for the cab ride.
I'm sure they didn't give him much of a tip if they did, because that's just a bruising carry.
East Pennsboro with the football at their own 29-yard line. Single set back. The pitch from Brinzer back to Ranson, and he will go nowhere. In fact, loses a few yards. New quarterback in the game is Greg Scheiber. Scheiber actually on the pitch that time, and East Pennsboro has now gone to its second unit. This loss will hurt the chances for East Pennsboro to get into the double-A playoffs.
But it's been a very successful year for this team. This is a team that was not expected to finish any higher than maybe mid-pack in the Mid-Penn Division 2, and this is a team that's been very impressive this year for the most part, and really gave Middletown fits until the fourth quarter here tonight. They were as close as 7-6 midway through the third, and then Middletown just flexed its muscles a little bit. Just had a little bit more tonight than East Pennsboro has been able to put up, and you know, this team has nothing to hang their heads about this season. They've played extremely good football.
Schreiber climbs with the man in the backfield, and as he tries to throw, he is sacked. Craig Lau welcomes him to the football field, takes him back for a loss of 10. Schreiber ran into his running back, Ranson, and then stepped back a couple more yards, pulled up to throw, and whap. And now the Raiders will also make Some defensive substitutions in the game as well.
Well, Middletown has realized that, Mike O'Donnell going on the field very late in this football game, in this play, and Brian Widener may not get off in time.
Widener does make it to the sideline in time. Third down. Long throw, Schreiber, nobody in sight. Threw that one down all the way midfield, about 10 yards in front of Lawley, his intended receiver. Brings up a fourth down for the Panthers. And Middletown doing some last-second substituting on the field.
And that play, Schreiber on that play, you can see a little bit of inexperience from the sophomore, a little bit of nervousness in there. He just got sacked and didn't have much time to throw the football. This time rushed the pass and overthrew his man by a good 7 to 10 yards.
Groff back to punt, standing around his 5-yard line. Middletown leading 29-6. Groff unloads end over end. Takes a bounce around the 40-yard line, gets out to about the 45, and that's where they're going to mark it down. Marking it down near midfield. Raiders will get the football back with under a minute to play, and Raiders will pretty much sit on it the rest of the way here. Just a few belly dive up the middle runs. Don't forget, Middletown Blue Raider football continues next Friday night at home against Mechanicsburg. We hope all Middletown fans show up for Senior Parents Night. Next Friday night, 7:30 kickoff at Memorial Stadium. If you haven't caught a Middletown game this year, we want you to come out.
And this is the game that